Hello, how are you? Today I brought you some tips on how to eat flaxseed the right way. Flaxseed is a super healthy grain, very rich in fiber, in omega-3 precursors. It helps with satiety. And many people think that you can only eat flaxseed with yogurt. And if they don't eat yogurt, they don't know how to include it in their daily routine. They wonder if the way they're eating it is correct, if they need to grind it, if they should use flaxseed oil, if they need to soak the flaxseed. I'm going to answer all of that for you here and give you some tips on how to consume it. I'll share some really cool tips and you're going to love them. Stay until the end because you won't want to miss them. If you love tips and recipes that are cheap, healthy, and quick, you're going to love this channel. So go ahead and subscribe, turn on the notification bell because there are new videos here every day. You won't want to miss them. Let's start by talking a bit about flaxseed then, because when we talk about healthy seeds, I think the first one everyone thinks of is flaxseed, partly because of the price. Flaxseed is much cheaper than chia. Well, not a lot cheaper, but proportionally it is more affordable, and many people end up being more familiar with flaxseed than with other seeds of this type. These healthier seeds, all seeds actually are healthy, but chia and flaxseed stand out more because of the large amount of omega-3 precursors they contain. And many people want to start consuming more flaxseed because they've already seen my videos talking about the benefits of flaxseed, or they've seen a video where I compare it to chia. Both are really great. I'll leave those videos down below in the description for you. People wonder if they really need to do everything that's recommended, like having to soak flaxseed, for example. This is a question I get a lot in the videos, even when I show how I prepare things. People ask me if I soak the flaxseed before using it. They want to know if they can buy pre-ground flaxseed meal, what the best way to use it is. So let's talk about that. The first tip I want to give you is that flaxseed, as I've already mentioned, contains omega-3 precursors and many interesting nutrients. But it's a seed, so it has that harder outer shell. And if we were to take this particular seed and then swallow it completely whole, our human body would consequently have a really hard time breaking it down effectively within both the stomach and the intestines. Most likely, it will pass through intact and not be absorbed. The nutrients inside won't actually be absorbed, so you won't be able to optimize the benefits of flaxseed. You'll still get the fiber benefit from it just by its presence, but you won't be able to access the omega-3 precursors and other phytonutrients that are there ready to be used by you. So, the first tip for using flaxseed is that ideally, you should chew the flaxseed well if you choose to use the whole seed, or you should make flaxseed meal at home. It's very easy to do. You take the seeds you've bought and grind them in a blender, a food processor, or even crush them with a mortar and pestle. If you don't have any of those, you can just mash them to break the seeds and release those nutritious compounds found in flaxseed. Because that way, you'll ensure that all of these nutrients are available to you. So you ask me if you can just buy flaxseed meal so you don't have to do the work in the morning. Ideally, you shouldn't, because flaxseed meal has already gone through this process beforehand. So those healthy fats will have already come into contact with oxygen because the seed has this outer layer that prevents oxygen from reaching the compounds inside. This layer helps prevent oxidation. And this oxidation will cause the omega-3 precursors to lose their effectiveness because they will have already oxidized, and it will also give a rancid taste. Because many people complain about flaxseed, saying it tastes like soap. I've heard people say that flaxseed is very bitter, that their child can't eat it. That's because people buy the pre-ground flour, or they grind the whole package at once and store it. And that's when what I mentioned happens. It goes rancid, the fat oxidizes, and you lose some of those omega-3 precursors, which are so healthy and beneficial. So, if you can freshly grind, thoroughly crush, or blend it right before using, you will already be ahead when it comes to effectively preserving these incredibly beneficial properties of flaxseed. Other people often say that in order to properly consume flaxseed, you have to soak it, you really must hydrate it thoroughly. Otherwise, you won't be able to fully get all the wonderful health benefits that flaxseed has to offer. That's not true. Sometimes we soak it to get a gelatinous consistency, because depending on the recipe we want it to be able to form that gel. Flaxseed and chia have this ability to absorb a large amount of water. So when we add water to the seed, it becomes kind of gelatinous and often even replaces eggs. That's why many vegans use flaxseed egg or chia egg, and usually you do it like this. 1 tablespoon of the seed, either flaxseed or chia, and 3 tablespoons of water, then wait about 15 minutes. It will really turn into a gel, exactly that. And if it's a recipe that uses just a few eggs, you can substitute them because it gives that same emulsifying power as eggs. So, you can hydrate it or not, depending on the recipe, but it's not absolutely necessary. If you don't hydrate it, it's not wrong. Other people have told me they've read online that the ideal is actually to consume flaxseed oil, because that way you'll get these omega-3 precursors in a much more concentrated form. That's true, for sure, because the oil is extracted from the seed, just like they make oil from olives, which becomes olive oil or sunflower oil, where they press the seed. You can make flaxseed oil as well. You just have to press it and you'll get this cold pressed oil, which is very healthy. And you can substitute it in some recipes, but there's the issue of the flavor, which is a bit more bitter than olive oil, for example, and compared to coconut oil, it's not even close. And there's also the fact that when you're dealing with oil, it's 100% fat with no fiber. So if you're looking for the benefits of fiber, if you're looking for effects on bowel movements, in this case, it won't help. But if it's an option for you to use as a substitute in preparing some food or to put on top of yogurt, if you like it, that's fine, but remember that you won't get the fiber in this case. So you got excited, you want to eat more flaxseed, and if you're a man, you need to be careful. I'll talk about that later. But you might think you can only have it in yogurt, on fruit salad, just sprinkling it on top, and you want to know if I have other ideas to share with you. I have an entire playlist of recipes with flaxseed or chia, which I'll leave down here, but I've picked out a few special ones that I think you'll like. The first is my flaxseed cracker, kind of like a cream cracker, which we make with flaxseed flour. This cracker is delicious for adding a spread, for putting avocado mayo on, for eating with cheese. It's very easy to make, inexpensive, and the good thing about flaxseed flour is that it's much cheaper than other low-carb flours, like almond flour, for example. And it has a wonderful crunchy texture. I'll leave this recipe down below in the description. Go to the description where I'll leave everything in order as I mentioned them here. If you like any of them, just click and you'll go to the video with a step-by-step explanation, which makes it easier for you to understand. Another amazing recipe with flaxseed is the low-carb pizza. This is actually one of my favorite pizzas, to be honest with you, because we make it in the blender, pour the dough into the pan, pre-bake it, and it gets a wonderful texture. It doesn't have a rancid taste because we grind the flaxseed right before using it, so it turns out really good. The whole family will love it, and on top of everything, it's low carb and amazing. Watch it there, you'll like it. Another recipe that I personally love is the low-carb chicken pie. It's a savory low-carb pie, and I made it with a chicken filling, but you can use tuna, hard-boiled eggs, or leftover ground beef. Watch the video, you're going to love it. A more functional way to use flaxseed, for those who are having trouble with bowel movements or have constipation, is to use it together with prunes to make a natural laxative jam. I have this recipe here on the channel, and many people have told me that it greatly improved their quality of life because it's 100% natural. So it can be used by pregnant women, children, and the elderly, and it really helps those who have chronic bowel movement issues. So check it out. If that's your case, you'll like it too. You can also make a crispy toasted savory topping with flaxseed flour. I used half flaxseed flour and half coconut flour in my recipe, and it comes out perfectly low carb. And it's delicious, really filling, super flavorful. I think you'll like it too. I'll leave it down here for you. There's also the option of using flaxseed flour to make cakes. I have some recipes here on the channel, and don't worry. If you grind the seeds fresh, like I mentioned, there won't be any rancid taste. You can easily use it in sweets as well. Check them out, I'm sure you'll like them. One recipe that was a huge hit here was my low-carb baked pastry, where the dough is made from flaxseed. It turns out just like the ones from the bakery, but obviously with a much healthier fat, and it's completely low carb. So if you're on a low-carb diet, if you're trying to lose weight by cutting carbs, or if you're diabetic, you're really gonna love this recipe. Go check it out. I've also picked out a juice recipe because flaxseed goes perfectly with juices and smoothies. When we talk about flaxseed, I think a lot of people think of adding it to yogurt or fruit salad, while others think of putting it in a juice or smoothie. I've already picked out a recipe here that I put together for you to help with weight loss, reducing bloating, and losing belly fat, and I'll leave this recipe down below. A sweet treat always hits the spot, and I have a low-carb chocolate pancake recipe here that's amazing. I think it's one of the prettiest recipes I've ever made here on the channel, and it's made with flaxseed flour to show you once again that yes, you can make delicious desserts with flaxseed flour, so go check it out, you're going to love it. And finally, I've set aside a smoothie recipe for you here, specifically to help with constipation. If you don't want to make that jam and get into the habit of eating it every day, you can alternate with this shake, which also has flaxseed and will definitely help you. Now that detail about men that I was going to mention is that flaxseed contains lignin in its composition, a high amount of lignin. Probably more than any other grain that we know of, at least among the more common ones that we usually use. So ideally, if you're a man, you shouldn't eat an excessive amount of flaxseed every day, systematically, like 2 or 3 tablespoons of flaxseed every day. Maybe in your case, it would be more interesting to alternate with chia, pumpkin seeds, or sunflower seeds, which are actually good for testosterone. Because I don't know if I explained this, these lignans in excess can lower testosterone in both men and women. For women, this can be very good if they have polycystic ovary syndrome or other hormonal issues, but for men, it's not as beneficial. So what is good for one person isn't always good for another. I have a video where I talk more about foods that lower testosterone in men. I'll leave it down here. I also have a video about polycystic ovary syndrome for women. I'll leave it down here for you as well. And I'll also put the link for low-carb flours for you, because these are alternatives you might not have known about, and I explain more about what these other options are that you can use instead of flaxseed. So now tell me down here in the comments if you have the habit of consuming flaxseed, if you eat it whole, use its oil, eat it ground, how you usually use it in your daily life. If you have any recipes, I'd love to see your comment. Give the video a like because that really helps me a lot, and share it with those who need it. Let's work together, you and I, to expand this chain of good because that's what I want most here on the channel. See you next time. Bye.